I'm in Patagonia, Argentina, standing on the shoulder of a steep road winding up from a surreal aqua lake. Sandwiched between two giant backpacks, I raise my arm and stick out my thumb. "Hold your thumb out higher, you look hesitant," two Chilean hitchhikers yell at me, startling me, making me realize how awkward I must look. I've never hitchhiked before, and now I'm trying to hitchhike 1,500 miles. I'm trying to hitchhike to the end of the world. It's spring 2014. I'm 26 years old, and I'm 2 months into a solo adventure and sabbatical from my job as a New York City reporter. I feel an intense need to break away from the trappings of my daily life and society, to be not only a reporter, but a creative writer, to make the story of my own life worth telling. And as I begin my hitchhike, my dad's 19-year-old self inhabits my own psyche. He hitchhiked across the US in 1972, keeping notebooks. And now, at age 59, he's written an essay about it that's been published in the New York Times. He writes romantically about the journey, writing, "Sometimes we must meet our younger selves in order to be propelled up and out into the big, boisterous world, making the road, however we define it, our own." But he also looks back on his young self protectively, writing that he feels when reading his old notebooks like a worried dad, and saying he certainly wouldn't want me, his daughter, to hitchhike. But I am the youthful writer now. I feel all the risk-taking hunger for experience he did. He created something great from his hitchhike. I hope to as well. If not now, I'll miss my chance. And maybe I'll be too cautious too when I get older. I see other hitchhikers around me, but I don't see any other girls. This makes me nervous, but also, more so, defiant. I'm just as independent and bold as these guys. I won't let gender hold me back. Plus, there's something exciting about being the only girl out here, showing what's possible. A car pulls over. "A ride?" The driver rolls down the window, and it's a middle-aged man with a very fearful look in his eyes. He yells at me, "Do you have drugs? All you hitchhikers have drugs. You better not have any. I don't want any trouble." I promise him I don't, surprised and also humored that this man is afraid of me, when I've always learned, as a young woman, I should fear getting into the car with strange men. So I jump in. We get to talking. His name is Domingo, and he's a longtime resident of the lakeside city Bariloche. He tells me about how Nazis took refuge in his stunning mountain town for decades. And he says, "Humans are animals, but with an essence that is criminal." I tell him that I would rather think the opposite. I tend to see the good in people. And he asks, "How are you able to trust strangers jumping into the car like this?" And I say, "It must be my parents. They've taught me to see the good in people. My dad's favorite motto has always been, everyone has a story to share, making me curious about those stories. So as a solo traveler and reporter, I've met tons of generous strangers, and my inquisitiveness has helped open them up. I know I'm lucky that I've had no bad experiences, but I feel confident that I can read people. Plus, the risk is worth it to me. I need to live my life fully, seizing the day in my own way. The next car that picks me up is the family with 2 little girls. We laugh and chat, and we even go for ice cream at the end of the ride. Then I find myself standing for hours on the side of the road, when finally a Jeep pulls over and offers me a ride. The driver is Noam, a young Israeli traveler about exactly my age. And he's also going to the end of the world, Ushuaia, Argentina. So I get comfortable riding with Noam, and I take out my notebook and start describing the scenery, just like I imagine my dad did. And I write, bushes like bobbing troll heads, sandy speckled hills, no other humans for hours. I write freely in a way I can't when in one place. I feel more settled when the world around me is in motion. Noam and I become fast friends, sharing snacks and favorite songs, stopping at an abandoned village to climb on boxcars. And he tells me about his life, how he was in the Israeli military, and now he doubts he'll ever return home. But after 3 days, I tell Noam, go on without me. It's my imperative to keep jumping in the car with as many different strangers as possible, and the comfort of one ride for the rest of the journey seems too boring. Certainly not the variety that I'm seeking. So, through the desolate desert of South Patagonia, I catch a number of short rides, and then a cop pulls over, and he gives me a ride, and he tells me, stop hitchhiking. He tells me it's dangerous. And I nod politely, having no intention of listening to him. But he takes me a few hours closer to my destination. My next ride is a quiet countryman who's playing romantic music. And he stretches his arm out almost to the passenger seat. I don't know if he's just stretching and relaxing his arm or if he's on his way to touching my leg. And he turns down what seems to be an abandoned road and then into a ranch. And I have no idea where we're going. And I think, the cop was right. My judgment was wrong. I don't even have cell service. My parents won't know what happened to me. He stops the car and opens up the door. And then he climbs back and pulls out a bunch of supplies from the bed of the truck, leaving them there and returning to the road. I'm fine. I sigh in relief. I catch a few more rides, going more and more south, and the landscape becomes more and more rugged and isolated, and I can feel the end of the world approaching. And then I get there. The end of the world, Ushuaia, Argentina. And I see McDonald's and tourists and casinos. And I think, what now? So I finally call my parents and I tell them that I've hitchhiked all the way here. And my dad half scolds me, saying, that was a huge risk. Something awful could have happened to you. But then he says, even more so, he's proud. The best thing I can imagine hearing. And as we talk and I make sense of what to do next, he clarifies it for me. Now, he says, it's your time to create.